What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about the top 5 short squeeze stocks that you need to add to your watch list going into this upcoming week. So I'm going to go over all the things you need to know, but first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with stock number 5, not in any particular order, ticker is OMER, sitting at 1571. Over the last 1 year, it is up 50.19%, and then over the last 5 days, up 57.69%. So definitely a lot of good pre-existing momentum, and that actually is exactly the type of stocks that I look for. Shorts being overextended, and plus the stocks having some good momentum behind it. So that's kind of a good recipe for either some very serious price appreciation or either a short squeeze. So nonetheless, it's definitely a good ride. There's a lot of good information here, such as market cap. If you're more into the quantitative data, these are some of the metrics based on Seeking Alpha, so feel free to pause it and go through it. But in case you are curious, this is what they do. So Pharmaceuticals, 202 employees, founded in 1994. Right now, 20.88% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 14.24 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow is kind of on the low end, so 2.02. That is an annual rate, not a daily rate. DTC is fairly high, so that is sitting at 3.46 days. So that does signal that shorts are overextended. That does factor in the average volume in comparison to number of shares being shorted. Whoever is shorting this stock has been holding on for dear life. So despite the price and the stock kind of moving from around, give or take $4 to where it is now, like shorts have been holding on for dear life. And so it's been kind of interesting. Definitely, it's either poised for a nice squeeze or shorts are going to throw everything they have at it. Short score, higher the number, the higher likelihood of a squeeze happening, is sitting at 65.89. And then through IBKR, it does indicate 1.3 million shares is available. Reason why I bring that up, in some cases, if stocks are kind of limited supply, you could be seeing some buying coming from big players such as BlackRock and Vanguard, as they will be more than happy to buy stock just for the purposes of lending it out. So in this case, probably won't be seeing it because 1.3 million is kind of sufficient. Moving on to the next one, ticker is GLSI, and so that is sitting at 2069. Over the last 1 year, up 74.26, and then over the last 5 days alone, up 48.19. So definitely a lot of good momentum for this. This is what they do. So biotech, founded in 2006, based out of good old States. 22.71% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 1.49 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average is rather on the high end, so sitting at 516.98%. Again, that is an annual rate, not a daily rate, but still rather high. DTC sitting at 9.66 days. So definitely signals that shorts are very, very overextended. Short score sitting at 80.73, and then through IBKR does indicate roughly around 1,000 shares is available. So most likely going into this upcoming week, you could be seeing some buying from big players. Plus, on a side note, there's actually a lot of big data coming out this upcoming week, such as FOMC minutes, that could really push the broader market higher, as it will start to assume a January cut based on, again, some of the maybe what is stated in the minutes. And plus, aside from that, there's a lot of good manufacturing data coming out. But nonetheless, add this one to your watch list. Moving on for the next one, ticker is RZLT, so Resolute, sitting at 267. Over the last 1 year, it is down 46.71%, so not doing too great, but over the last 5 days, it is starting to build up some good kind of recovery, good momentum, up 37.49%. Again, market cap and so forth and data is right over here. Aside from that, this is what they do. So another biotech, 75 employees, founded in 2010, based out of California in the States. 18.42% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 11.91 million shares overall being shorted. So going into this upcoming week, we are sitting at all-time high short interest numbers. Cost to borrow is kind of on the low end though, so 1.32 days. Shorts still overextended with 2.2 6.24 days for the DTC. Shares on loan being at 6.75 million, but yet 11.91 million shares are being shorted. So this, oddly enough, there is a case of naked shorting occurring with this stock, because you should never have more shares being shorted than on loan. So this definitely is a interesting one just to kind of keep in mind. Aside from that though, through IBKR does indicate roughly around 450,000 shares is available to be shorted. So even though that is kind of on the low end, cost to borrow is also similarly low. So it might not be in kind of the best interest for institutions, BlackRock and Vanguard, to buy just for the purposes of lending it out, because they won't really get too much through the cost to borrow. So probably won't be seeing any buying from them, but still nonetheless, a lot of good pre-existing momentum with this stock. Moving on to the next one. Interesting one, because last week when I did this type of video, for the first time ever, I had a EV, and that was Rivian. Rivian has been doing absolutely phenomenal. Now we actually do have another EV, and that is Polestar, sitting at 1754. Over the last 1 year, not doing too great, down 45.86%, a lot of negative sentiment as kind of they did a reverse stock split to become NASDAQ compliant again. But aside from that though, over the last 5 days, it is up 32.38%. Plus, on a technical viewpoint, is actually nearing the 50-day moving average. So potentially another 20-30% run could be occurring. But in case you don't know, this is what they do. So EVs, global EV and whatever else, 2,500 employees, founded in 2017. 12.48% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 1.61 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average, 351, so kind of on the high end. DTC, very overextended, 7.25 days. Short score, 78.99. And then through IBKR, does indicate roughly around 100 shares is available to be shorted. So most likely you will be seeing a lot of buying occurring going into this week associated to this stock. So definitely something to keep in mind. And then moving on to the last stock, ticker is SIDU, sitting at 193. Over the last 1 year, down 58.85%, but over the last 5 days, kind of losing a little bit of momentum, but still doing fairly well, because over the last 1 month, up 164%. This is what they do on a side note. So aerospace and defense, 104 employees, founded in 2012, based out of Florida in the States. Aside from that though, 26.78% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 9.38 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average, 279, so fairly high for that. Short score is 79.52, and then through IBKR does indicate 350,000 shares is available to be shorted. So let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Is there any other stocks that you feel could be squeeze plays? If so, throw some tickers in the description below. One final thing, if you are interested in some solid on-point buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Stacked account. I actually do have a promotion going on up until the end of the year where it is $1.50 for per month, and if you get in, you will never be increased whatsoever. So definitely pop over there, check that out. A lot of good tiers for whatever you need in life, but again, definitely take advantage of that, only up until the end of the year. With all that said, hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far, and with all that, appreciate all of you watching.